Gone 5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Put a day doctor away, all that good stuff. How is everyone doing today? Is everyone doing great? That's fantastic. I asked that as if it was a general question, but I think I'm more specifically like when you're out somewhere, you're at school or something, right? And the teacher, like, this could be a good or a bad thing. It's like maybe someone's getting picked on, and the teacher generally says, "Hey guys, like, I just want to make it clear, I don't want to hear any name calling, but really they're talking to like set individuals, but they're saying it generally, so it's not obvious, but it's obvious." Or in a negative sense, you might be at work, and it's like, "All right, guys, I didn't want to call this meeting, right? And I'm not going to say anything specific in general, okay? But really, guys, when we go to the toilets to do a pee pee or a poo poo, we really need to make sure we're hitting the target, guys. Now, this isn't to anyone in particular. I just want to say maybe it's something I've noticed. But when we're doing a number 1 1 or 2 2, we really need to make sure we're hitting that target zone, guys. Because I've seen misses even with a number 2. Okay, guys? I don't know why they speak like your babies when you're at work like that. But yeah, I was saying that genuinely. Like, how's everyone doing? More specifically, Will Smith. Right? How you doing, Will? Not great, I'm gonna guess. If you don't know, I mean, I don't know how much I got a recap for you. I'm assuming you know everything up to now, which is that crazy relationship slap, present day, right? And then Jada Pinkett Smith, aka Earth's mightiest supervillain, could rival Thanos, honestly. Sits on a little, thing promoting her book, smiling, evil, talking about how she's actually been broken up since like 6 years ago, right? And I'm just going to jump to this immediately because I did also see this tweet on Twitter, where obviously it's Twitter. Some smug bastard goes, how did you guys not know that Will Smith already mentioned... Wait, no, let me say exactly how they worded it. Will Smith literally mentioned this in his book already. Why is everybody acting shocked? Why do people have to talk like that on Twitter? What? Okay, just say Will Smith said this in his book already. Why do you have to be like Will Smith, like, as if like it is like mandatory that the entire nation read? It's not like Shakespeare, right? I know most people haven't read Shakespeare, but like a book that, or like, To Kill a Mockingbird, or like these books they make you read that like are important. Like, it's just what, maybe because we didn't read it. Maybe we don't know it was in Will Smith's books because we didn't read Will Smith's book. I didn't read Will Smith's autobiography the same way I'm not going to read Jada Smith's autobiography. Like, I'm sorry, you can be shamed sometimes as like the current generation, right, for being too chronically online or whatever, and just reading headlines and not actually listening to the finding out the context and stuff. This isn't that. It wasn't just headlines. It was video, and like, sorry, I haven't done my research that much into Will's and Jada Smith's like current affairs or entanglements. I don't keep up to date. I just find what gets blasted in my face on Twitter, and at the moment it was this. Now, if Will mentioned it in a way, right? That book came out in 2021, so that book came out prior to the slap. And this is like the snap, like Thanos. Genuinely, these guys are sort of the main two characters in the real life MCU that we live in. Okay, so before the slap happened, right? The book came out, I think, a year prior. I've done a little bit of research, right? So I'm trying to piece this together. I'm like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Is it that show? The clip where he's like behind with like the red lines and shit, and he's trying to work it out. That's me, because the reason I'm doing that, because what she has said isn't just as simple as, oh, they said they were together but they weren't. We move on, celebrity relationships, am I right? They're crazy. Yeah, but also that, okay, so that then implies the famous quotes, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth," were grossly inaccurate. My ex-wife's name out of your mouth. Slight misstep there. And for an actor whose job it is to read lines every day, if he was pretending to be in a relationship, I would assume he'd be able to at least remember his lines. And why would you feel so angry in the moment if you knew for like you haven't not only haven't been with this woman recently, but you haven't been with this woman for the last 5, 6 years at that point. But you're still so like I could get it if like they decided to be apart and it was like it was still kind of fresh for him and he still kind of felt more attached to this relationship that wasn't anymore than she did. But like I like this relationship is the world's longest car crash. It's like the car crashed and then it keeps on crashing. It's like it's excessive now. It keeps just tumbling and then it explodes and then it implodes and then it's like a black hole and then the black hole, and then and it's just I'm just Matthew McConaughey, just like I'm just like watching it all, just screaming. But yeah, so I did my research because this is what I'm trying to say. It's like a whole, elaborate maze I'm trying to work out here, right? And from what I can gather, that book came out a year before the slap, right? And if he mentioned it in that book, there would have been people who saw that slap happen and then also known that he said it black and white in the book. And they surely people would have brought that up on Twitter as well. I can only imagine because no one actually presented the text, right? Or what page it was in the book where Will says it. But if I had to guess, he maybe said it in a slightly different way or presented it, if he did say it, in a slightly different way than Jada has just presented it. Which was in a way that would have been news to all of us and Will himself. Because if Will had blatantly said, I'm not in a relationship and haven't been in a relationship with this woman for the past 7 years, then I'm sure people would have picked up on that when he slapped a guy for her being his wife a year later. So he must have said it in a slightly different way. Either way, either one of these two things is happening. Jada is crazy evil, or Will Smith is just like deluded and like he's like mentally fucked in a bad place or some way, and like he is like obsessed with this woman who just doesn't want anything to do with him, and like he's a mess and like he has weird things going on, and he maybe he likes this, maybe I remember seeing this video on Twitter like a couple months ago or weeks ago of a guy naked being walked on a leash by some woman down the street. Maybe that's Will's thing, and maybe we're all like, oh, she's just kicking Will for no reason, Will's just sitting somewhere, Will like tanked his career almost. Like he can still get jobs here and there, like Shia LaBeouf's in some films coming up. He's done he's done more than slap a guy on stage, right? So he's not like he's just done, getting cancel's not really even a thing really unless you commit like a heinous crime, and even then, but it has helped his career, and he did that for someone who he doesn't like and isn't his wife. It feels strange. It feels weird. Is what I would say to that. Now I understand like relationships and that. It's like people want to throw at you like, oh, parasocial, these buzzwords. Fucking, oh, why do you care so much about? Honestly, I don't care. Honestly, I don't want to see this. I don't want to know. I didn't ask for this. It's happening to me, and I'm gonna talk about it because it's like, why? I don't know. Have I got anything else to say on it? Just that either way, like there is no way you do like a documentary on these two, and it's like, oh, okay. Like, there's no way it comes out like that. Jada speaks about the relationship like it's just there is no, like, whether it's Will who's insane or she who's insane or they're both, or it's just like a weird thing going on here, or what, how many affairs or how many things, no matter what it is, right, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, if there is no right, there's no wrong, if it's just weird, it's weird. Like, there is no way, and that's just like, I don't know if that's like a celebrity relationship or most relationships are weird like that, but these are just obviously the high profile ones, so it looks like celebrities have weirder relationships than people who aren't, but that isn't the case. It's just that they're high profile, so we have a magnifying glass on some of these weird relationships. But it's, it's unfortunate. I'll say that. It's a bit unfortunate. I also don't like Jada's just willingness to just say shit. It's like, did you speak to someone before you said that? Like when she's like, yeah, Chris Rock hit me up immediately after he thought me and Will were divorcing. He hit me up like, hey, do you want to go out? And I was like, what? And he was like, aren't you and Will Smith divorcing? I want to take you out. And I was like, oh, no. And then he apologized profusely, and that was that. And it's just like, some people look at that and go, oh, Chris Rock's some incel who immediately tried to jump in Jada's DMs the second he saw an opportunity, and then got rejected, so made jokes about her on stage, and then got slapped by Will, and maybe Will knew that he was in the DMs, and that's why he had extra rage towards Chris, which, you know, against detective work. The way I see it, though, I don't know, out of the three people in the story, Will, Jada, and Chris Rock seems to be the most sane out of those three sources, and I would probably believe the story come from his mouth most. I would say that. And also, like, what? He jumped immediately into Jada Smith's DMs off of rumors online that they had divorced. Is that not kind of insane? Like, you hear murmurs that another high-profile person in the space might not be with their wife anymore, and you immediately jump into that. Just seems quite far-fetched. Again, like, I just don't know if it directly went down like that. And if it did, why does people feel the need to immediately, like, just air shit just to sell a book? It's like, I don't know, it's just like, Jada Smith is not far off being, like, just, like, another TikTok influencer to me, and, like, making clout and fame for yourself in the way that they would. Like, I know she's done a couple movies here and there and stuff, but, like, it's weird, man. It's weird, but, you know, that's that. That's what I'll say on that. That's all I'll say. I just noticed that this died, the mic I'm holding in my hand, so I need to get better at this. I've been doing this a while now. I've done 256 episodes of this, and it's an internet issue, it's the mic's not plugged in, it's the camera's not on, it's this and that. How am I not used to this yet? How am I not? I don't know how long ago that died, but yeah, this was 256. I'll see you in 257.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.